Hi, my name's Danny and today I'm in Wilmslow. This is the showroom of the rich and famous where mega bucks are being spent. Now, I'm not a great fan of these status symbols, but I've been brought here today to see if I can change my mind.
We've grabbed Danni Hunt from her normal day job, presenting such raunchy programs as G-Spot and the eye-popping Beaver Patrol. After that lot, this may be a little sedate.
Fundamentally, there's no difference between selling a car to a man or a woman, but obviously the way that you approach the sale is different, and some ladies will ask different questions with regards to what they want to get from the car, so you've got to be tuned into that. We have a number of models over the years. I mean, the new cars that we produce are the Boxster and the 911. And the Boxster is the more popular for the ladies in that it's a roadster, so it's a cabriolet. We offer the car in manual or automatic transmission, whichever they prefer. And you'd say that the majority of ladies tend to drive the Boxster because it's more their type of vehicle. We find that more men drive the 911. A 911 is perceived as an out-and-out sports car developed, from the track. And the Roadster, although it's got the Porsche heritage in that sense, the perception is that, it's not going to sort of shake your fillings out as you're driving down the road. So I think the ladies enjoy that image more, and they find the car a little easier to live with day to day.
So you want to know about blokes and cars, in particular blokes and posh cars like this little sweet baby. Well, I'm actually quite a little girl next door and my favourite is the Fiesta. And to be honest, this doesn't quite cut it, and I'll tell you why. It's a little bit too large, a little bit ostentatious, and I swear that the bloke that drives this sort of car probably prefers his motor to his missus. Now, you might think that I'm being a bit harsh about the Ferrari, but that's due to the fact that the design is very angled and square, and it comes across as being very masculine. This is also a car that demands an awful lot of attention, and not many people can carry it off. Now, I'm a girl that likes a bargain, and for my money, and this cost the price of a decent house, I'd much rather buy two of these or two of those. This is the 911, the car that most chaps go for, and this little baby is the Boxster. And would you believe it, 50% of these are sold to women. And I'm not surprised, they've got sleek, feminine lines, and you're not going to look silly down at the supermarket. I've just proved myself right. This is definitely my favourite motor so far. If only I had my checkbook on me. Joke. Bye!
Cars tend to fit neatly into their own nice little categories. You know the kind of thing. Compact city cars, sensible saloons, ravishing little roadsters. A car to suit the kind of person you are and the type of life you lead. And that being the case, it stands to reason if you're a high-powered executive city type, you drive a large luxury saloon. But what if, when the weekend comes, you fancy getting to grips with nature and sampling a taste of the great outdoors? What, you? Well, I know it's not usually my style, but if I had the kind of vehicle that offered me the opportunity to do both, I might just try it. Impossible. What kind of car can offer superb on-road performance and luxury and have the capabilities to go off-road? Well, actually, this one can. The BMW X5. So, what's an X5? Well, the name gives it away. Think about it. The 5 from BMW Super Saloon, the 5 Series, and the X from Cross Country. Put the two together and hey presto. A car to pose around town in, a car that lets you spot that parking space outside Harvey Nicks before anybody else. Or, if you prefer, a car that can cope with the rough stuff and loves nothing better than thrashing its way through a nice bit of mud. Now, the market for off-roaders just keeps on growing. A few years ago, you could basically have a Land Rover or a Jeep. But now all the manufacturers want a 4x4 of their very own. Even Mercedes have the M-Class, for goodness sake, and BMW certainly don't want to be left out of the game. But the holy grail for manufacturers has been to design what has so far been a very elusive creature. A vehicle that has the looks of a 4x4 but offers the performance of a top-class car. After all, these kind of vehicles are bought by buyers who want to look down on their neighbours and not by farmers who want to cross their fields. They love the looks, but they want the performance, and according to BMW, with the X5, you can have both. Whatever name they may give it, I reckon it looks like an estate on stilts, which maybe doesn't sound very flattering because it is actually a rather handsome and refined creature. The wheel arches have a very subtle flare and they smoothly merge into the gentle curves of the body. And just to remind you, and of course the neighbours, about the off-road bit, you get beefed up bumpers, neat fog lamps, discreet running boards, nice fat tyres and some extra ground clearance. The interior, as you'd expect from a BMW, is extremely civilised. The instrument panel doesn't favour the driver, so that one's passenger can take care of the stereo, the air conditioning and that satellite navigation thing. Everything is superbly positioned and of course it's all superb quality. And there are no complaints about the driving position either. In fact, these seats are more comfortable than the sofa in my living room. There's plenty of room for the driver, for the passengers, and for the most important bit of all, the shopping. Out on the road, well, it might be a large, powerful vehicle, but it's surprisingly easy to drive. The extra height means you get a great view of everything around you, but it doesn't come with any of the rock and roll that you normally associate with off-roaders. And the performance from that V8 engine also reflects that. 0 to 60 takes just 7.5 seconds, and it easily cruises to a top speed of 128 miles per hour. The steering really does feel very direct and it responds without any fuss or any bother. The 5-speed automatic gearbox does all the work for you. And when you add to that a very, very comfortable ride, you'll find it impossible to believe that you aren't in a top-class saloon. And if that's not enough for you, then there's a sport chassis available too, if you feel the need for a marginal improvement in handling for a slight reduction in comfort. But the best thing is you get fantastic fat tyres and even bigger alloy wheels, which will cause such a stir down the King's Road. It probably won't surprise you to discover that 95% of people who own off-roaders never take them off-road. Let's be serious. When the X5 goes on sale at the end of the year, it's going to cost around £47,000. If you'd spent that much money, would you want it to get bumped and bashed and covered in mud? I don't think so. Well, the good thing is, though, that this X5 isn't mine. And remember, I'm rather keen on getting to grips with nature. Off-road, the X5 proves its worth. The permanent four-wheel drive system directs most of the power to the rear wheels, so lack of grip and wheel spin is reduced to a minimum. Of course, the serious side to all this technology is that ultimately it makes for much safer driving, particularly on those dreadful winter mornings, which is probably why you find so many of this type of vehicle taking a rather precious cargo to the school gates. Now, because of BMW's connection with Land Rover, it will be no surprise to you to discover that quite a few of their gadgets and gizmos are on the X5. I'm talking about things like hill descent control. Now this system, rather unsurprisingly, controls the engine's speed when you're on a very steep slope. It allows it to creep down at a steady 6 miles per hour. All you do is flick a switch just down here. You let the engine do the work for you. You don't panic. You don't even need to use your feet. The only limiting factor is the 180mm ground clearance and the compromise on road tyres. But hey, you can't have everything now, can you? Oh no, look how dirty it is. Why would you want to do that? You see, what buyers want is a vehicle that looks the part and has the off-road capabilities. Heaven forbid we should actually want to try it. Well, you can speak for yourself, because some of us will relish the challenge of discovering what the X5 is really capable of. You should try it sometime. Oh well, that's the beauty of it, I suppose. Whether you're looking for on-road performance or you want to have fun on an off-road course, then the X5 will suit you down to the ground.
Have you ever really wanted something so badly that you've saved like mad to get it? Say your dream wedding or a new home, or an ideal holiday, or a Chrysler Viper GTS. And today I've come to meet the NHS nurse whose passion for the Viper meant she just had to have one. Originally a show car, Chrysler took the Viper from dream to reality and unleashed it onto the roads in 1992. Under that long bonnet lurks an enormous 8-litre V10, which after Lamborghini had settled it, produced a rather healthy 450 brake horsepower. On most people's salary, it would have been a massive squeeze to buy a car that cost nearly £70,000. How exactly did Nadine manage it? Nadine, tell me how this obsession with the Viper first started.
I can remember back in about 92 it was, I was watching a clip on a motor show about American cars in Detroit, concept cars, and there was a quick snippet about the Viper and it just stuck in my heart from there on. I just thought, what's that? I want one of those.
What did you do to get over this obsession? Tell me about the tattoo.
Yeah, it was just, I was, to remind myself of my goal, I put it on my driver's foot. Thought that was the most appropriate place.
On the throttle foot?
Yeah, of the emblem of the car.
How on earth did you find the money to buy a £70,000 car?
I just fell in love with it, and every hour I worked was an hour nearer to getting the car, and when you're at work all the time you don't go anywhere and spend the money, so it's quite easy to save it. I didn't buy clothes or go on holiday, I worked in my annual leave.
Now you drive this on the road every day. Is it a practical road car?
Yeah, I take it shopping. I don't believe in paying all that money for a car and then leaving it sat in the garage just for weekends. Use it as much as I possibly can.
What sort of reactions do you get from people when they see you driving this car?
Usually surprised, you just see jaws dropping. I think mainly at the sight of the car, but I think a lot of people think, my God, that's a girl driving that, you know. They probably think I've nicked it from somewhere.
Now it's got a reputation for being a bit of an animal. How do you find its handling?
It is, as long as you respect it, it's actually quite an easy car to drive, as long as you respect the power that's there. When you do lose it, it's quite a handful to get back.
Do you ever get a chance to really push this car?
Not on the roads, really. I love the chance to take it out on the track. It's really at home there, and you can really find out what the car will do.
The Viper's performance lives up to those aggressive looks. 0 to 60 comes up in just over 4 seconds, and if you're brave enough, the car will accelerate all the way to 177 miles per hour. This is not a car for wimps. Those massive rear tyres have plenty of grip, but push them too far and the Viper will bite. And don't expect traction control or any modern driving aids. This is a true muscle car. Well, I think Nadine certainly proved that if you want something badly enough, you really can get it. The only problem now? I want one. So let me think. I could sell my cat. I could sell my body for medical research. I could,
I've just bought myself a brand new sports car and I desperately want to push it to its limits, but I can't on the public roads because of safety and because of speed cameras. They're as common as my husband's ex-girlfriends. So what are the options? One option is to bring your car along to one of the many organised track days held at race circuits throughout the country, and that is exactly what we've come to Castlecombe to do. Now there's many companies that offer track days, but today I've come to take part in a track day called Quick Chicks, and it's just for the girls. I'm absolutely desperate to get out on the track, but I've got to be sensible and have a bit of a brief with Sarah Hutchison, who's the founder of the Quick Chicks Motoring Club. Hi Sarah, what is the Quick Chicks Motoring Club?
It's a club for women who've got performance cars. They come along to us to find out how to handle them properly. You get a professional to cut your hair, you get an accountant to do your bookkeeping. We can teach you how to drive your car fast and safely is the most important one.
What does the track day consist of?
When you come to a Quick Chicks track day, we like to get you relaxed first, give you a coffee, give you a briefing about driving on track. We have a very high ratio of instructors. We do one-to-one instruction. So you can have the same instructor all day, or you can go out with somebody different. If you want to drive on track on your own, you can do, but only after we've decided that we're happy that you're going to be safe out there.
Before taking to the track myself, one of the course's instructors takes me round to demonstrate how it's done. This is not just a chance for the instructors to scare the hell out of you, it's essential familiarising yourself with the circuit. After a few laps, it's time to swap places and take to the track. On the track, I learned that you brake before a corner and then you accelerate out of it. Blimey, I've been doing that wrong for 10 years. At first, I found it really difficult to concentrate on what I was doing and to listen to the instructor at the same time. Now for the moment of truth, I'm going to speak to Claire Williams, my very, very patient instructor. How did I do, Claire?
Melissa, you did very, very well. I was very impressed, very impressed. You handled it very well. The first time out, obviously, we took it very carefully. A few times you took the wrong line, but obviously gradually you improved. You learnt all about the break points and the apexes. And each time, gradually, you know, we went out, I think, with 5 or 6 laps first of all, and then had a break and we had a talk about it, came in here, had a look around at the board, and then the next time you went out, you were getting the lines fine.
Have you got any tips to help me improve my driving?
Definitely sort of plan out, you know, the cones are out there for a reason, follow the brake boards as well, brake at the point and turn in at the cone and then accelerate out through the apex. But each time you're getting quicker and quicker. Very, very impressed today. It was very good.
Back on the track and it's time to put right those mistakes from the first session. The one-to-one tuition was superb. My instructor Claire was extremely patient. I do have a habit of not listening, but once I knew from her what I was doing wrong, I could then do it correctly. Move over, Eddie, your days are definitely numbered.
I am feeling extremely shattered. I've had a great day though. I feel much more confident than when I arrived this morning. My driving's much safer now and I definitely recommend it. To be honest, I think I'm going to jack my job in as a presenter and become a racing car driver.
Now today we've come to this amazing Porsche and Ferrari garage in Wilmslow in Cheshire. And we've just come to check out which of these cars will suit a working girl like me.
Anne-Marie may be more at home on the soap set at Brookside Close, but she's paid a few visits to our studios.
This is a Ferrari 355 sports convertible in a midnight blue with tan leather interior. However, I quite like the red one better because in Cheshire you need to stand out in a crowd. This interior is absolutely beautiful. The leather feels so soft and the seats are so comfortable. I feel really low to the ground and in control. It's so elegant, simple, but really sexy.
Ferrari is a myth and has been for many, many years. Ferrari as a manufacturer import very few cars into the UK. Although we are still the 3rd largest market in the world, we still only receive about 400 cars. So as you can imagine, travelling around the UK, you very rarely see a Ferrari. People buy Ferrari because of the way that the car drives, and you get the other people that buy the car because of the badge and the myth about it. Women have a slightly different view of a Ferrari. Some women love them because of what they're all about. It all depends if the husband owns them, because if the husband owns them, they tend to find that they don't like them.
Now this has definitely got to be the colour for a Ferrari, especially in this cream leather interior. It's absolutely gorgeous. But if someone pulled up in a car like this, I wouldn't be interested in the bloke, I'd be too interested in the car. I used to go out with a bloke who was really into his cars, and he just absolutely forgot about me. He was more interested in his cars than me, so I had to bin him. I absolutely love cars, and I've just sold my BMW 323i Coupe Automatic, which is absolutely gorgeous, but unfortunately I'm buying a house, so I've got to sacrifice some things in life, and I've bought a Volkswagen Golf Cabriolet. But one day, when I'm rich and famous, or win the lottery, fingers crossed, I'll come here and buy a Porsche or one of these. I couldn't go away without driving one of these, could I? This is absolutely fantastic. I can't believe it. But with a 3.5 litre engine, I do think my bank balance will cope with that. Bye!